Simplicity is the prerequisite for reliability. Edsger Dijkstra. My friends, we see markets are a little bit mixed. The S&P right now, with about another 50 minutes to go, is up a little bit. NASDAQ 100 down, bonds down, gold up, and Bitcoin down. Not down as much as it was earlier. We'll jump into all this. Let's go. This is the weekly review and forecast. What do we see going on with the S&P 500? Really down in the morning, pulling up a little bit as we get toward the market close. You can, of course, see how the volume has reduced in the afternoon. And as we look at things, we can see that we are down on the STC, the main indicator that we are using here. Our candlesticks are down, but not as far as things were in the morning. Of course, we look at where we are on the 2-day. It is still green on the STC. We have a green spinning top. And of course, this candle will be closing at the close of the day on Friday. The weekly, again, still a green candle, not reaching the high of last week. So it has slowed down, and we can also see how the volume has pulled back as opposed to last week. But again, we are still green on the STC. That's 10 points on the success multiplier formula on the weekly. We're 4 points green on the STC on the success multiplier formula for the 2-day. And as we look at the half day, of course, it has been red for a while above the 200 EMA. What are we waiting for as we get into this next week to see if stocks rebound? If they do, and we go from red to green as we did back on the 23rd in the morning on January, we'll be looking to jump back into a potential up move. So that is what's happened over the course of this last week, and what we hope, what we'll be waiting for to see if that happens over the course of this next week. Looking for hopefully an up trade if it sets up. Now we look at the NASDAQ 100. What do we see there? Well, with the down moves through the day, we see that the STC has cleared through this center area. Same kind of thing. It is setting itself up potentially for a reversal and a head up. If it does that, then we will be jumping into an up practice move over the course of this next week. We see that we're still green on the STC. We're bouncing off the 200 EMA, so that may not happen over the course of this next week. Maybe things are just pegged to keep going down. If that's the case, that's okay. We're just going to let the charts lead us. Same on the weekly. It's still green on the STC above the 200 EMA. So just like the S&P 500, we have 10 points there. We again, because we're green on the STC, have 4 points here, so we're at a positive 14. We're just waiting for the half day to rotate over going up if that happens. Let's move on into bonds. Bonds have now moved below the 200 EMA in down territory there. We see that, the volume, we're down 1.30% for the day. We look at where we are on the 2-day. We have been below the 200 EMA for a long time. There we go. And we're still green on the STC there. So again, even with the 6 days coming on, 6 days of down movement, still green on the STC on the 2-day and also on the weekly. But this has been a decidedly down week. We will see as we progress into this next week just what happens. If we see that 2-day and weekly head on down, or if they stay where they are and things potentially recover here on the half-day chart and moves back up through the 200 EMA. May happen, don't really know. I mean, we can see, again, the start of what could be some critical down movement again in the 20-year bond ETF. Now let's go on to gold. Gold up a little bit right now, 0.22%, but you can see where gold really pounded down back last Friday the 3rd, both in the morning and the afternoon, and then since then moved up a little bit on Tuesday morning and afternoon and on Wednesday, and then sort of started rolling over again, punched through a lower low during the course of the day, the lowest low we've seen this week on Friday, and then pulled up a little bit in the afternoon. What are we waiting for on gold? Well, we can see that we are quite red on the STC. We're above the 200 EMA. As we look at the 2-day, problem is it's gone red on us also, so we don't have those 4 extra points for the success multiplier formula. And on the weekly, it's still green, but again, red spinning top there on the week starting the 30th of January, and then this week, a strong week down on gold. So we'll see as we move into this next week just what it's going to do. I'm tending to guess that gold is going to make some more down moves. If it rotates over and starts heading up, I'd be very cautious of that. Why? Well, because we are negative now on the STC on the 2-day and big down week this last week. But again, if things really start to rebound in gold, we might pull the trigger on that. We'll have to see. Keep that powder dry and let's see where that goes for us. Let's lastly move to Bitcoin. This is the Bitcoin ETF, the closed month short-term ETF. What do we see going on? Well, we see down move in the morning, further in the afternoon. Bitcoin hit its high back on Thursday the 2nd and has just been trundling down since then. Volume's been pretty low, hasn't even hit the average over the last several days. We do see where volume was heating up. As it was moving down, we look at where we are on the 2-day. It's still green, unlike the half-day. The 2-day still green on the STC. I'm hoping we'll see good resets on the STC on these bigger charts on the 2-day and the weekly so that we can get it back normalized again so we can start counting on it. But we can see these last 4 days accelerating down movement. But again, not a lot of volume there. We look at the weekly, and again, we can see a red spinning top for the week, but not much volume, still green on the STC. We'd like to see that kind of stuff reset. We did just release to everyone, we released it earlier in the week to the Patreon members, we just released Charting Cryptos and Commodities. I would also ask you to take a look at that over the weekend. That is where we are, folks, as we have ended the day. Interesting trading week. We'll be ready for this next week. We always love to hear from you. CW@chartingwealth.com. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.